Good evening. Welcome into HogvilleNET YouTube Live. We are going in game now. A little inside 10 minutes, really at the under 8 minute timeout right now. Arkansas is trailing Miami. I think it's a 7 point game. And it's another situation. Well, really, this is the first game I've seen where I would now say that you're looking at two bad basketball teams on the court trying to figure out a way to win a game. And Miami's doing the better job of it. It's another Arkansas game away from home where the Hogs are finding a way to stay within striking distance. They're maintaining contact, but they can't get out of their own way. They can't get over the hump. We saw it against Baylor. We saw it against Illinois, two teams that are supremely better than this Miami team that's lost four in a row. Got some good offensive pieces, a good offense coming in, 84 points a game, shooting well from two, from three, from the free throw line. That's been the case tonight, but the defense ranked near 300 in college basketball in Arkansas. Unforced turnovers, a lot of awkward play, a lot of disconnectivity at both ends. And I remember this was a talking point so much last year. And so we're right now. I said earlier today when I did the recruiting bit this morning that when we came on tonight, we would be talking about either it's not time to hit the panic button yet, no need to panic. We're a few minutes away now, 7+ minutes away. If this ends up being a Miami win, if it's time to hit the panic button, this is not a good basketball team, and neither is Arkansas. When I went back and watched the Arkansas Illinois game on replay, I kept rewinding the breakdowns and how Arkansas was defending the high pick and roll, pick and pop, the dribble handoffs. That just one aspect of many areas on defense that have started to really look bad in these last two games, or well, in that game, and now some of it's carried over to tonight. And I kept thinking about it 5-2. I'm like, it looks like at best a bubble team right now. It's still early. Those are things that can be, corrected or improved upon. But I'm thinking bubble team. Joe Lenardi comes out with his projections today, his update on the bracketology. He does it once a week right now. And Arkansas, sure enough, is on the bubble. It slid down to a 10 seed, a last four bye. We understand at this juncture it doesn't mean a lot. The net rankings came out yesterday. Arkansas was 50th. So everything, when you look at these metrics, Arkansas does not belong ranked in a top 25, and they're out, understandably. But tonight, this is a team that's been struggling. It doesn't mean that Miami's not due for a bounce back. They're playing at home. They got Nigel Pack back, their leading scorer, who was out the last game, a loss to Charleston Southern. They've been close in some of these games, losing to Charleston Southern to Drake, to Virginia Commonwealth, to Oklahoma State. But a 7-point lead with 7:06 to go. And Arkansas's just, every time Arkansas makes a run, there's a mistake or two mistakes and a breakdown here. And it's everywhere. It's at both ends of the court. Arkansas has been awful in transition, losing the ball, inexcusably, unforced errors. No credit to the defense on most of Arkansas's problems. And you go back to the Illinois game, that game ended a draw and turnovers, 11 for each team. So that's a win for Illinois because it wasn't a big turnover team in terms of creating them. Arkansas was. Each team had 7 steals in that one. Again, it was a game of unforced turnovers for Arkansas. And you're seeing that again, self-inflicted wounds. There have been some good things in this game at times from Arkansas. They kind of picked up the 3-point shooting. But they're not getting to the free throw line. And when they did, I think they were 3 of 5 the last I checked, 60%. Started knocking down some threes. We've seen Big Z hit a couple. Boogie Flans hit 2 or 3. Nelly Davis has a couple. Adu Thero has really struggled in this game. I say this all the time. Even though he's your leading scorer and plays his ass off, he's really an opportunistic scorer. If he's your leading scorer, that means there might be a lot wrong with your offense because he's having to play bully ball and just trying to wheel his way to carry Arkansas for stretches when nothing else is working. And it's kept Arkansas in some of these games and helped them win some. But at the end of the day, he's not really a 3-point shooter. He's not really a shot creator in a normal sense. He's a to B downhill driver. If you can cut off his clean drive, he's likely going to travel or struggle to get it out of there. He's not a clean ball handler. And I say all that, he just knocked out a big shot now that Miami's back on the offensive end of it. Arkansas's within 5. It's probably his best offensive play of the night, other than that reverse dunk. But we know he can do that. If you don't cut him off going to the basket, he's going to dunk it. I think DJ Wagner's having his best game. In a game pitted with two really bad basketball teams at this point in the season, DJ Wagner is balling out. I said that. Let's wait till Miami's back on offense. Wagner with another drive to the basket. He's been doing it all night. We've seen glimpses of it. Even against Illinois, he got downhill and got some tough shots. He's not going to explode past people. He's not an explosive leaper. He's not a great shooter. He has hit a 3 tonight. Nigel Pack's just, he's been eating Arkansas alive tonight, as has Matthew Cleveland, now playing off the bench. So Arkansas got within 3 on that Wagner drive. It's back to 5. So Wagner's having, he's approaching probably 20 points, 16 to 18 probably right now, probably approaching 20 points. And so he's having his best game on the offensive end. Again, this is not a good Miami team. They do have some smallest guards out there, and DJ's taking advantage of that. He's putting his head down and just driving into guys, getting some nice finishing angles. He did get blocked on one drive. There was a shot where it was initially called goaltending. From the replays that were shown, it wasn't conclusive that the defender blocked the shot prior to the ball touching the backboard, yet they reversed it after a dead ball and took 2 points away from Arkansas. Miami's on offense. Nelly Davis just hit his third three-pointer of the game. Arkansas's within 2 again. And this is where Arkansas starts to really bottle up and struggles when they get right there, just like the Baylor game. Never quite got all the way there. Once they fell behind by double digits against Illinois, they'd get within 9 or 10, and they would go back out to 15. But a lot of that was a bunch of missed free throws, where maybe if they'd have made a normal percentage, that they were a pretty good free throw shooting team before the last game, they might have been getting a little closer to a 2-possession deficit, maybe even a 1. And that puts a different kind of pressure on the front-running team that's led throughout. Baylor overcame those. Illinois very well may have too. We never saw that. Here's Arkansas again, now with possession. And it's another unforced error, not something the defense did. Big Z gets an offensive foul call. It's a turnover in the screen game. And so another missed opportunity where Arkansas shoots itself in the foot. That's a self-inflicted wound on the offensive end. Most of Arkansas's problems in this game, you can point to that. Miami shot over 50% all game long. I haven't looked at the stats in about 3 or 4 minutes, so I don't know where it is now. Some of that, they got hot early from 3. They've cooled off from 3 somewhat. They've hit some timely ones here in the second half. There's another one. So just like that, Arkansas had a chance to tie or take the lead. Offensive turnover on the foul call. On the other end, Nigel Pack hits a corner 3. He's 3 of 5 from 3, 20 points, and it's back to a 5-point game with 4 minutes left. Arkansas is really starting to hit threes after starting this game 1 of 6. They've got to be around 10 or more threes at this point. Big Z, Miami's back on offense now. Big Z just hit, I think, his 3rd, and it's back to a 2-point game. Let's see what Arkansas does. Got to stop. Now they're on offense. Let this play out, so I'm not doing a live. Good ball movement. Miami's now on offense. Arkansas missed a corner 3 by Boogie Flam, but the ball movement was good. You got a paint touch by DJ on the drive, a kick out to Big Z, who made the next pass because the defender was in a closer position to him to defend than Boogie by himself in the corner. All right, so 2 defensive possessions, by the way, for Big Z that are not too bad. He closed out the previous possession for Miami with a defensive rebound, and then this one, he blocks a shot. Now he's gimpy a little bit as we go to a timeout here. Ball out of bounds. It'll belong to Arkansas. He said back-to-back. This is not something you typically see with him. You'll see him block some shots, but he's put together 2 tough. We've seen Arkansas in this game struggle again with the pick and roll defense. Guys on the dribble, on the bounce, just setting up defenders with hesitation moves and getting to their spots. Nigel Pack, some of these smaller guards. that Miami had that did a little better in the first half than I've seen him in the second half. And then Matthew Cleveland dunking on people, blowing by guys, or dunking on offensive rebounds. It's just one of those games where it's a constant flow of Arkansas threatens to get right back in it and then finds a way to make a mistake, whether it's on defense or offense. It's a turnover. It's a foul. It's giving up an offensive rebound and a putback. It's late in clock and you have a busted assignment. Somebody's getting a wide open shot. These things happen in basketball. They're happening a lot to this Arkansas team, and it's a sign of a team that's not very good right now. I've said it, now I'll say it again. Arkansas is not a good basketball team. It's not. Win or lose, this is not a good team right now. I've seen enough to say that. It doesn't mean they can't be. Jonas Adu didn't start tonight. He's probably played the most minutes he's seen so far this year. I think 11 against Illinois in the last outing. You saw Arkansas on offense in that first half when they got down by 11, down by 10, cut it to 8 right before halftime, scored the last bucket to get it to 8. It was 40-32. But you saw Arkansas's big men rolling hard, rim running off high screen action, and you saw Adu Thero, Boogie Fland, who had 6 assists last I checked, firing in some really nice passes where the defense was trying to gap help, and they were letting Arkansas's bigs kind of run to the basket unattended to. And then you've just got to recognize that and make a good pass, and Arkansas did that. So you saw several dunks. You saw a couple by Jonas Adu. You saw a couple of dunks from Trevor in Brazil. One of his was actually, I think, in transition. But then Arkansas's missed some layups tonight, multiple layups. Adu Thero, who's usually pretty solid finishing around the rim, got a good shooting percentage, really off tonight in the close range stuff. And then Billy Richmond in the first half had a nice steal and should have been just stroll in for a dunk, and he dribbled off his thigh, went out of bounds. I mean, it's that kind of thing that continues to haunt Arkansas as the Razorbacks try to get over the hump. They've got a chance here tonight to finish this game right. I was on Pig Trail Nation Sunday, and during my segment, I said, Arkansas, if it has the same mentality of just staying in a game, it's a true road game. It may not be beautiful. I don't expect it to be a large margin. It's going to be a tight, close game likely. And Arkansas, if it has that hang tough quality that it did against better teams in Baylor and Illinois that were much better staving off runs and holding on to leads, that Arkansas would have a chance to win this, and I felt like they would. Well, they're not there yet. There's still 3 minutes and 9 seconds left. You're coming out of the timeout. But Arkansas is down 2 and will be in possession of the ball. So Wagner's 14 points. So I guess because they took 2 away, he would have been at 16. They took that basket away on the goaltend call. It may have been that the player got to the ball first, but there was no angle on review that I saw that they showed us that should have overturned that to be conclusive. And the call on the floor was the goaltend, so maybe they had a better angle. Yeah, so I can't give play-by-play right now. Let's see if Arkansas at least gets a good look. And they did. Just a little pause here. All right, so Arkansas ran its offense coming out of the timeout. Actually got a good look from DJ Wagner, who drove into the paint. He's been doing it all night. He missed the shot, but Arkansas hustled and got an offensive rebound. Reset the offense, and then got late in the clock, and it was another 2-man game. Boogie Fland getting downhill with Avicits out high, setting a pick, and he gets fouled going in. So I can't do play-by-play where that happened a while back, and now we're just looking at free throws. Which bad basketball team is going to gut this one out and win it? Sorry, I don't mean to sound negative. I'm trying to be realistic and honest. So if I'm coming off the wrong way, look, this is a quad 3 result either way. This is brutal if you lose it on your resume. It's brutal. And you say, well, it's early in the year. That's true. But if you're truly a bubble team, this is the kind of game later on when all things are, when you're being compared to other teams, it's the kind of loss maybe. There are other bubble teams you think could have a bad loss or two as well, but You don't want any. You don't want to start now with them. All right, so Miami's back on offense plan, made both free throws. That's clutch. Arkansas has tied the game at 71. Arkansas's back on offense now, got another stop. That's 3 possessions in a row, maybe more than that, but 3 that I can remember. Man, Arkansas just sloppy as hell on this offense possession. But they survive what could have been a turnover, a pass out to the corner. Boogie Flynn knocks down another 3 as Arkansas's last 5 points. Free throws, a 3-pointer. Arkansas's taking a lead. This is the first time that Arkansas has led away from home. Let me think about this statement. Did Arkansas lead at any point in this game? I don't think they did. I think they got behind. If they did, it was very briefly early. I didn't pay attention to that. I know they didn't score the first basket. If Arkansas ever led, it wasn't by much, and it wasn't for very long. And I don't think they did. This is the first lead at 74-71. We're at a timeout. Big corner 3 by Boogie Flynn. And this is the first lead Arkansas's had playing away from home. Never led against Baylor. Was tied once, I think. Maybe more than once, but late. And almost a turnover, but not. Thiero gets the hustle ball play. It's another thing Arkansas struggled throughout the game is winning 50-50 balls. They won that one. So when you win a 50-50 ball play and there's some bodies on the floor, that means maybe somebody's open. Good recognition by Thiero to pass it again to the other side of the court in the other corner where Boogie Flynn was, wide open. So he had a nice look at it, no contest. And that's a clutch shot he just hit. All right, so Miami's on offense. Arkansas's got its first lead away from home of the season. Never led against Illinois, never led against Baylor, and I don't think they led in this game. So Miami's going to get a second chance on this possession, and they score on it. A deep 3 that was missed by Pack. Get the offensive rebound, then Pack doesn't settle, gets all the way to the basket. Gets a layup. Arkansas up 1. And there's a minute 14 left. So Arkansas is on offense. Man, this is wild. This is really what I was talking about on Pig Trail. I said I think it's going to be tight. You find the way to stay in contact like they did in the other 2 games. It's not as good a team, and you give yourself a chance to get over the hump. Boogie Flynn, now that Miami's on offense, I can go ahead and say it, just worked himself into a shot creation, to a spot he likes, a mid-range pull-up shot. That's been his money shot more consistently. He is a good 3-point shooter, but that's also a strength of his. And Arkansas went back up by 3, gets a stop on defense. Arkansas's up 3 with now that they're on offensive across midcourt. Boogie Flynn's got the last 7 points for the Razorbacks. It's a 7-2 run. Arkansas leads 76-73. 20 seconds left. There's a 7-second difference in shot clock, 7.5 seconds. Miami's going to let them play it out and not foul intentionally anyway to stop the clock. All right, so that looked ill-advised to me. A lob pass, there was nowhere to throw it. And Arkansas has really been struggling with lob passes lately. Arkansas gets bailed out with a foul call, and it's probably the right call on Adu Thiero. Now you want Thiero to at least make 1. He has struggled as a free throw shooter. We know that. Missed 9 in the last game. Arkansas's got a chance to come out here with a win and move to 6-2, be 1-0 in true road games. It is would be a quad 3 victory. In a battle of bad basketball teams. So I can't do live play-by-play, so I'm going to wait a little bit. I've already seen the result of the first free throw. I'll just say it's not good. A good result, if that leads you to a conclusion, if you're not watching it with your own 2 eyes. And I may be a little delayed from some folks. We're at a point now where you're looking for Arkansas to find a way to win. All right, so one sign of a team that's not good is going to the free throw line and going 0 for 2 there. That's what just happened. And then Arkansas, with 5 fouls, did maybe a smart thing. Miami brought it up off the defensive rebound. Arkansas fouls when they cross midcourt. 7.4 seconds left. Arkansas's up 3 still. Didn't get a free throw on that trip by Adu Thiero. 76-73. So, Miami can tie it with a 3. whether it's a 3-point field goal or an old-fashioned and one. I don't know that there's enough time to play a longer game where you just try to get something going to the basket as quick as you can and then foul, because you're out of timeouts if you're Miami, so you can't even use a timeout if you do something like that later. So we're just going to have to see what happens here coming out of this timeout. 7.4 seconds left. Now you start talking about, should Arkansas foul now that they're at 6 fouls, foul them as soon as they inbound it before they can get a shot up and send them to the 1-and-1. Because if they make both, you're still up 1. Now they could, obviously try to get a steal on your inbounds play, and then you've got to probably make free throws. But do you go ahead and foul them when they inbound it? Don't let them get a shot up. That's one way to do it. The other thing is just play the possession defensively and, try to take away the 3-point line. Arkansas has not been good at that. And this will be an after timeout play, which means, a Hall of Fame coach, Jim Larinaga, despite how bad this team is, they are a good shooting team. They are a good 3-point shooting team, and they probably have a play or two for some guys. And even if you don't, a guy like Nigel Pack can break off a play. He can create off the bounce at all 3 levels, including 3-point shots. He's done it tonight. So if I'm Arkansas, I'm going to foul immediately. As soon as this ball is inbounded, I'm not going to let somebody get into a shot and get a shot up. I'm going to foul, put them in the 1-and-1, and go from there. That's how I would play it. We'll see what Arkansas does. Thank you again. We're 21 minutes in. This has been kind of wild roller coaster coming down to the end. If I seem like I'm negative, I'm just trying to be honest. These are 2 bad basketball teams at this stage of the season. And the way that you start to prove otherwise is you got to start winning games like this. You get a bad team that beats another bad team's got a chance of being better and getting better and maybe being a good team. The Miami's on the cusp here of losing 5 in a row. They've had some close games, and 3 of the 4 losses have been mid-majors. One was Oklahoma State. Arkansas, I think some positives tonight is seeing Nelly Davis hitting 3 threes. He had a little shot in the paint in the second half. He's rebounded the ball well. Somebody other than Adu Thero on the front line did some stuff tonight. You've seen Trevor Brazile do some stuff. So Arkansas went for the steal. They're playing for a steal here, I guess. Sloppy inbounds play by Miami. So Arkansas was hustling, trying to get to the loose ball. It looks like it might be out on Arkansas. They might review it, but there's 5.5 seconds left. And if Miami maintains possession, then the Hurricane, that's hard to tell. From this other angle, it looks like it might have been the Miami players. It's hard to tell. We'll see what review comes up with here. But if you're Arkansas right now, you're on the cusp of getting over this hump at least. This will be Arkansas if they win. If the Razorbacks win, it'll be their first win over a high major team. They'll move to 2. Here are the positives. First win of the season against a high major team. You got that. You got a first win away from home. You're 1-0 in true road games. You're 2-0 in the ACC SEC Challenge. For what that's worth, counting last year's win over a top 10 ranked Duke team at home, we know how that season turned out. There's some weird symmetry so far in this season. Beating a really good team in a charity exhibition game, not looking so good in November. Winning the ACC SEC Challenge could be the next thing in a close game. Too much symmetry, but you want the win. You don't want to not win to break that symmetry. You want to go ahead and get this win and then build on it from there. Look, if Arkansas wins this game, should beat Texas San Antonio at home on Saturday. Now you've won 2 in a row, going into what a Michigan team that coming into today was 6-1 and ranked 35th in the initial net rankings. On a neutral site court, if you could beat a top 50 net team, that's a quad 1 win. So Arkansas is 0-2 in quad 1, 2-0 in quad 3, 3-0 in quad 4. If Arkansas can win, it'll be another quad 3 win. So this doesn't help your resume in the sense of the win, other than you prevented a quad 3 loss, which massively helps your resume. And we don't know what this Arkansas team is going to do later. This has been a much better second half for the Razorbacks. 32 points in the first half, 44 in the second half. Arkansas hit threes. They did a better job with turnovers. They had 7 at halftime the last I checked before I came on. I think they only had 8, so only 1 more. So Arkansas did the right thing there. Nelly Davis commits the foul out on the floor with 3.5 seconds left. I believe it was a dead ball. What happened here? I thought that put Arkansas at 7. Maybe that was just the Arkansas Razorbacks moved to 6-2 on their season with a 76-73 road victory against the Miami Hurricanes. Normally, you'd be ecstatic about a win like this. You probably are, given what Arkansas' struggles have been. It's not a very good Miami team, but this is not a good Arkansas team yet. It's got the potential. We saw more of Jonas Adu tonight. Like I said, he got a couple of dunks in the game, had an air ball and a little shot he tried to, when he went to an isolation play and tried to turn into the paint. But he did get a couple of dunks off good ball movement, as did Trevor Brazile. Brazile had a tip in this game. He got on the boards a little bit. Big Z came and played off the bench tonight. Has been dealing, I guess, with an ankle. We saw him hobbling and dealing with that, but he hit 3 threes. DJ Wagner had a hell of a game. Boogie Flan helped close the show. Players other than Adu Thero stood up tonight. We know Fland has, and we know there's been moments for others, but you had a more collective effort, I thought. Again, this is a Miami team now that's lost 5 in a row. They're 3-5, led most of the way. Arkansas closed this. And this is exactly what I talked about, not how this would exactly play out. But again, I go back to my segment on Pig Drill. I said it's probably not going to be beautiful. It's not going to be easy. You're probably going to be in a tight game. The difference, though, if you stick with it, is this team's not good. The other two were and didn't allow you to get over the hump. But you got to start somewhere. And so you'll take this 6-2 for the Razorbacks, 1-0 in true road games, 2-0 all time in the ACC SEC Challenge. And again, you're 1-2 in games away from home. Arkansas is perfect at home. They've struggled against some of the mid majors, won those games by double digits, but tight games midway through the second half in some of those. So we know it's not just that they haven't even been. It's just a away from home thing. But they haven't won away from home, and now they've gotten off that schneid. So Arkansas avoids a 2-game losing streak and wins the first game of the John Calipari era at Arkansas against a high major program and away from home. And it's a true road game. It wasn't much of a, watching it, there were a lot of empty seats, and it wasn't that raucous of a crowd. So you didn't have the intimidation factor or that element in your way. You just had to get out of your own way if you're the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's really what it boiled down to, was Arkansas getting out of its own way. And again, the unforced turnovers, the mistakes on defense, the mistakes on offense, and where you can see that they've got a better collection of talent than most of these teams. That's how I look at it. I still think Arkansas has a better collection of talent than Illinois. Arkansas doesn't have a better collection of guys playing together as a team right now. And so that's why I say bad team. As a team, they're not functioning like a good team. But they were the better team tonight, especially in the second half. You're down 8 at halftime. You win by 3. You were plus 11 in the second half. You started knocking down threes. That really was kind of the trend. Arkansas didn't shoot well at all from 3 against Baylor, but I think they only had 1 make at halftime, and they made 4 in the second half. And they went 5 of 20. That's no good, but they got better as the game went on. Same against Illinois. Arkansas was 0 for in the first half, I believe. Second half hit some, but Illinois, I think Arkansas hit 5 in the second half. Illinois had 9 at halftime and 15 for the game. You were minus 30 behind the arc. It started to look that way early when Arkansas fell behind by 11. I think at one point Miami was 4 of 10 and Arkansas was 1 of 6. Arkansas won the 3-point shooting battle tonight. It was probably close, but I bet percentage-wise, not looking at stats, they finished better there. Arkansas was minus 3 at halftime in turnovers. The last I checked, they were evened up at 8 all. And even though Arkansas had lost points off turnovers at that point, they'd narrowed the gap. The fast break scoring they were losing, they narrowed that gap. I'd like to see the end stats on some of those things, because maybe Arkansas ends up winning some of that. But I think they won behind the 3-point arc tonight in the end, or it was close to being a draw. And Boogie Flan has been sensational. He had a bad game against Illinois. He's been really good. He had a bad game against Illinois, and Arkansas could ill afford that because he's been one of Arkansas's top 2 producers on the season. Tonight it was Adu Thero that didn't have a good game offensively, and it was Boogie Flan who stepped up in concert with DJ Wagner. And I'm going to say Nelly Davis. Nelly Davis gets to double figures in this game, I believe. I think he hit 3 threes. and I know he had a basket around the in the paint. And I think he had a free throw to open the scoring for Arkansas. So he should have had 12 points. One of the things I said was before the Illinois game in my preview article was Arkansas didn't have its backcourt coming together yet, all on the same night, and they were due for that. And they really needed against Illinois. Well, it didn't happen in that game, and certainly Arkansas's guards made mistakes in this game. But overall, I don't think we've seen a double-figure game. Don't count Maryland Eastern Shore, because I know we did in that one. I'm talking about any team with a pulse. We have not seen Arkansas's backcourt do this. Not all of it was pretty, but I mean, I'm going to go back and look at that box score, especially with the Nelly Davis. 11 points, returning to the Miami area after being at Florida Atlantic, hit 3 threes, and I know he was on the glass, 5 or 6 rebounds at least, maybe more. So he did some good things tonight. DJ Wagner's toughness, getting to the basket, that's his strength. I think he took 1 or 2 threes, and he made one, and he hit one early in the second half off good ball movement, and you like to see that. But he's not out there settling. He's getting to the basket. You know, again, he's not explosive. He's not blowing by guys, but, man, he's tough. And he's got some pretty good finishing angles he gets to. And then, again, I think the ball security in the second half was better. There were still some ugly parts. They were down the stretch. Arkansas had that offensive foul turnover when they got within 2. And to that point, your eyes have never seen Arkansas come all the way back and get over the hump. So you're thinking, are we going there again? We talked about it while it was happening. This third game away from home. Yet the last 4 minutes, it was after DJ Wagner did his part, it really became the Boogie Flan show on several possessions. And on the defensive end, Arkansas was getting stops. Arkansas still had a couple of letdowns on the defensive end, giving up an offensive rebound, and Nigel Pack gets a bucket to cut into the advantage, but Arkansas was still up by one at that point. But what did Boogie Flan do down the stretch here? He got fouled, went to the free throw line, made 2 to tie the game. So Arkansas got to a tie game. Then he hits a corner 3 to put Arkansas up by 3 after a stop. And it was a loose ball, 50-50 ball situation. It ended up being that Arkansas got that ball kicked to the corner off Adu Fierro makes the play to Flan to get that corner 3. Then I think it was the next possession where Pack got the second chance layup after he missed a long 3, and the Hurricanes got the offensive rebound. And then it was Flan in his pull-up game from about 18 feet. So he had 7 points in a row. And he was the one on the next possession Arkansas had when they were still up 3 after getting a stop that made, to me, an ill-advised lob pass to Fierro. He did get fouled. He missed both free throws, but Arkansas survives these last few possessions by Miami. Again, we know Miami, this is a team that's lost 5 in a row. So 3-5 now. Came in ranked 196th in net. That's going to slide some. They'll be outside the top 200 again. This is a quad 3 win. That's not going to help your resume, other than the fact that it didn't end up being a quad 3 loss, which that really hurts. Again, Arkansas now 6-2. You've saved some face in these back-to-back games away from home. You've saved a little face here. I'm going to say it again. This is not a good Arkansas team right now. These were 2 bad teams. I'm just going to be honest about it. That's how I see it. It's a broken record tonight. I'm going to always give you what I think. I'm not going to make excuses for it. Yes, Arkansas hasn't been at full health. That's a legitimate thing. We're seeing more and more of Jonas Adu. We're seeing more, Brazil's been back. He did some good things tonight. Adu did a few good things tonight, had some mistakes. That's to be expected. He's been out. So that to me is not excuse making. Those are valid things that we've seen happen. But everything else, like Nelly Davis, he still doesn't look comfortable to me in this offense. Tonight, in the second half, was the best I've seen it, but that also could be just how bad this Miami team is. This is a bad defensive team, hovering between 270 and 300 in defensive efficiency. It was a top 25 offensive efficiency team, and we saw that throughout this game. This is the 4th opponent now to score 70 or more points. Of course, Illinois got to 90, 72 each by Pacific and Baylor. The Baylor was a 5-point Arkansas loss. And so this is another game where if you look at the shooting stats, Miami was over 50% by the time I came on with about 7.5 minutes left. Missed quite a few shots down the stretch. They might have ended up under 50. probably still at a respectable percentage. But sometimes statistics don't tell the whole story. Arkansas was the better team in the last 4 or 5 minutes of this game, and it had to be. It had to be because it was trailing throughout, and it had to get itself down to a 1 or 2 possession game, and not stay hovering 3 and 4 possession deficit coming down the stretch. And so they were able to do that and stay attached and connected. Thanks again for joining me on HogvilleNET YouTube Live. Arkansas Razorbacks pull out a win tonight on the road and at the Miami Hurricanes home court in Coral Gables, Florida. It wasn't pretty. It was I'll call it a gritty effort by Arkansas down the stretch, because this was not a smooth operation tonight. It just wasn't. And again, two bad basketball teams. All right, so I've done enough of the repetitive stuff. I've gone 35 minutes. I've got to go knock out my game story. I'm so interested to hear John Calipari's thoughts on his team. I don't know who the player interview will be, and then pour through these stats and like I said, get the game story out and some other things that we'll reflect on later. If you haven't checked it out already, I did give a recruiting update today with some nuggets as Arkansas continues to try to add to its 2025 class with a frontline piece and maybe more than one as we move through the spring. Go check that out. That's out on HogvilleNET YouTube. If you didn't see it already, and appreciate everyone that tunes into this. I enjoy coming here and doing this. I prefer being at the games, but if I can, I like coming here and doing some of the in-game and a little post-game. But I appreciate again everyone for joining me on HogvilleNET YouTube Live. Until next time, take care. We'll see you then.